September in the his house. The tool that we decided to create an award show, because even though I don't think that was on that list, we kind of thought about the fact that in this industry we seem to have award shows for award shows, even like the best trailer for an award show wins an award and things like that. When we kind of looked over the list of things that we're trying to do, like encourage iteration and encourage trying new things and all that kind of stuff, one of the biggest things that seems to hold us back is fear of failure. We thought, what if we could destigmatize failure by having an award show that celebrated failure and giving out awards for the biggest failures of the year, with the caveat that the same way that for most award shows you have to show how effective it is, you actually have to show how much you learn from it. That's the kind of that's the way to end it. Just to kind of turn it on its head, we tend to completely stigmatize failure, and we tend to completely sweep the stuff under the rug and like, well, let's never speak of that again. And for those of you who've not heard, Rob and Adrian have a fantastic story about how one of their epic failures led to the creation of Zeus Jones, so you should ask them to talk about it at some point. So this would be an award to celebrate failures and what we can learn from them. It could be industry-wide, like you could do it at Cipriani's in New York and do the whole big shtick. Or it could be sort of just an internal thing within an agency, within even a small team, just to kind of celebrate stuff, especially if you're worried about confidentiality and things like that. And it could be an actual award show, but it could just be like a blog or a wiki or like a dig style thing where you kind of post something that you did that sucked and what you learned from it. People can kind of vote stuff up and down. So it could take a lot of different forms. But I think it's really as important that you're earning it for the most insightful learning on why it didn't work, what you can learn from it, and what you'll do differently going forward, and sort of sharing that with the industry. Why, in terms of we're asked to come up with sort of rationale and documentation for why this is a good idea. It destigmatizes failure through the celebration of things that didn't work, and encourages a lot of the things that we want to do. It encourages iteration, it encourages the creation of multiple ideas and trying new things. It encourages a lot less preciousness about big ideas and having to have the perfect thing, crack the big idea, and sort of ends that tyranny of big ideas a little bit. It encourages trust and transparency by kind of opening up our kimonos to, here's the stuff that we did that didn't work. I think our industry, we tend to puff out our chests a lot and pretend how awesome we are all the time, but it's kind of nice and refreshing to be able to say, I did this thing and it blew. And encourages community and sharing. It gives a different reason to come together, and it's funner, and it makes ourselves take ourselves less seriously, which I think is a really important thing to do. And I think this industry could do a little dose of humility every now and then. And so, like one example from my own career is a year or two ago for a very large packaged goods company. We created a Facebook app, and it was going to be so awesome, and you're going to get all these people virally sharing it and all this sort of stuff. 400 people downloaded it, and we actually went through the list, and over 200 of them were employees of the agency, employees of the client, or friends and family, people that we knew. Like, it was seriously, it was like the number of actual people who used this thing, you could probably count on like 2 hands and a foot. It was kind of embarrassing, we didn't do a post-mortem on it. It just became this like albatross that hung around our necks. And anytime we had a conversation about social media, about doing interactive stuff, about being on Facebook, it was just tumbleweed, silence in the room. And be like, oh, we can't do that. We tried social media and it didn't work. Seriously, like, people would say stuff like, well, we tried social media and it didn't work. And this is a massive client, lots of money, should be trying lots of things, but we did one app, Facebook app, it didn't work. And we all kind of went along with that logic for like a year. Oh, well, I guess we tried social media and it didn't work. And it took a long time for somebody to finally go, no, we tried one thing and it didn't work. What can we learn from that? But it literally took about a year to kind of get there. And there were lots of reasons that we kind of put in here that you guys can read